So you're thinking about moving to Kentuckiana. So what does this look like on a map? And that's what we're going to look at today, just an expanded map view so you can get a good idea of the region, the layout, the expressways, the schools, the different commute times, and what makes this, vibe and fit for you. All right, let's zoom out here a little bit. So, big picture area, Louisville right here, located in the northern part of Kentucky, and just right here at the very southernmost point of Indiana. We're an hour and a half from Cincinnati, good 3 hours from Nashville, hour and a half from Indianapolis. So, pretty good central location here, but we're going to zoom in real quick and give you a bird's eye view here. So, we're separated, Indiana and Kentucky, by the Ohio River. And a lot of people say we live in the Ohio River Valley. So this is the area that we like to call Kentuckiana. So you have Louisville on this side, Indiana over here. Our major expressways, so going north to south, we have 65, runs all the way from Chicago all the way down to Alabama. We have 64 running east to west, right through here, goes through the city up in Indiana out to St. Louis. We have 71, which will take you up to Cincinnati area. And inside the city, we have what locals call the Watterson Expressway. This is 264. This is a loop that goes around the city. And then we have an outer loop here that is 265, and locals call that the Gene Snyder. So our bridges here going from Louisville into New Albany, we have the Sherman Minton. Going from Louisville to Clarksville, we have three bridges actually. We have a 2nd Street Bridge, there's no tolls on. We have the Kennedy Bridge, and we have the Lincoln Bridge, there's tolls on there. And then we also have a walking bridge that goes from Jeffersonville over to Louisville as well. On the far side over here, we have another toll bridge that goes from the eastern part of Jefferson County into southern Indiana. So yeah, you can definitely live in Indiana and be downtown in 5 to 10 minutes, and the two states essentially function like one big metro area. So on the outskirts, in Louisville, there are some areas out here where you can find, homes with a little bit of property, a little bit of space. And the same, you get that, I think, a little more over here in Indiana, because it's less of a metro area. And I honestly feel like you get a little more for your money on this side of the bridge. Just as far as housing goes, taxes, your money just goes a little further. All right, let's jump into Louisville first and break down the main neighborhoods that everyone asked me about. So, real quick, down here in this area in downtown, we have Nulu. It's very trendy, I should say, artsy. A lot of walkable restaurants, bars, luxury apartments, renovated condos, and it's really good for young professionals because, if you're living and working in downtown Louisville, then, the Nulu area over here, you can see there, we got that. It's just an artsy, really cool area. There's a few great restaurants that we love over that way. So that is Nulu. Now, if you come out here let's see. So if you come out here to this area right through here, this is what we call the Highlands in this area right here. So a lot of bars, coffee shops. We have Cherokee Park out here, beautiful park. There are a lot of historic homes, a lot of culture. It's very lively and a fun atmosphere. And there are 3 parks here in Louisville that were designed by the gentleman, and his name is escaping me now, but he designed Central Park in New York. But we have Seneca, Cherokee, and then out here in the south end, Iroquois Park. And so they were designed by the same gentleman that designed Central Park, beautiful parks. But this area right here is the Highlands. Very cool, trendy area here. Going a little more east, we have St. Matthews. This is along the 64 and 264 corridors. Our 2 best malls, shopping malls, are out in this area. We have Mall St. Matthews and Oxmoor Mall. right next to each other, but divided by this highway out here. And what you're going to find in St. Matthews, it's, clean, very suburban, lots of shopping, your typical ranch homes, some updated colonials, and it's a pretty good short commute, centrally located in the city. Does get a little bit trafficky. Your Whole Foods is out here. Your Top Golf's out this way. Just a lot of your more high-end shopping. Trader Joe's is out this way as well. So this is St. Matthews. We go a little further out, getting a little further out away from the city. A lot of people ask me about Middletown. Middletown, again, family friendly, newer subdivisions, a lot of bang for your buck out that way. Again, a lot of shopping, really nice golf course out here with the, this is where they played a lot of PGA Tour stuff out this way, next to Anchorage. Middletown, like I said, just an extension off of St. Matthews, just, nicer homes, a lot of nice shopping out this way. Probably one of my favorite areas in Louisville area is Prospect. So you get a lot of questions about Prospect, and that's where I did the video. If you didn't see it, on Norton Commons, which is out this way in Prospect. But a lot of luxury homes out here. Access to the river. Norton Commons, like I said, is nearby, and like I said, this is where you get a lot of luxury out this way in Prospect, Anchorage. Anywhere on the east side of Louisville here is probably your more luxury areas in Louisville. All right, let's see. Right through here, another area. So we had New Lou over right here. This is an upcoming area through here. This is Butchertown, Germantown, and it's becoming more and more revitalized in the last several years. Every time I go through that neighborhood, I'm noticing, a lot more redeveloped, new developments, refabbed houses. It's, again, trendy. A lot of young professionals over here, breweries, some great restaurants, so just a good central location here. If you're looking for nightlife, choose your Nulu, your Highlands. If you want bigger homes, top schools, you're going to be somewhere out in this east end of Louisville out this way. All right, let's jump across the bridge over here into Southern Indiana. And, it's exploding right now for a lot of good reasons. Right over here in Jeffersonville, it's an urban vibe because we're right across the river from Louisville. You have a walking bridge at the Big Four Bridge. You can just walk or bike across. Amazing, like I said, for walkability, commute-wise, if you're working in downtown. A lot of new construction and development in this area. Some great restaurants, beautiful park, and a bigger park slated to open over here in this area in the next few years. So again, this is Jeffersonville. Coming a little further downriver and across the Sherman-Minton Bridge into Southern Indiana, we have New Albany. It's again a revitalized downtown, really beautiful historic charm, great restaurants, and a little more affordable than Louisville, a little more slower pace, but again, just you're so close right here. If you're looking to work in Louisville and be out here in New Albany, or Southern Indiana, I should say, then New Albany is a great town. Some of my favorite neighborhoods are out in this area in Floyd's Knobs and on the outskirts of New Albany over here. So again, Floyd's Knobs is just a country feel. Some of the best schools in the region are up in this area. Luxury homes, large lots, and again, I can't say enough for this area, and even a little further out in Southern Indiana. Over here, you have Georgetown. A lot of new subdivisions going up over here. It's got that small town feel. Very popular for family and proximity for Floyd County schools. And like I said, just a great small town vibe. And again, you're only 20 minutes, drive through 64 right here into Louisville from there. Back over here, just north, pretty much directly north, Clarksville, Indiana. So again, Clarksville centrally located, affordable homes over here, a lot of shopping. This is kind of our shopping hub for Southern Indiana. This is where our Sam's Club is, and Lowe's, a lot of restaurants over here. So I think one of the bigger draws of Indiana is lower property taxes. So buyers get a little more house for their money, and the commute, it's so easy. So let's talk a little bit about cost of living difference between the two areas. This is probably the question I get the most is like, what area is the cheapest? Well, it's a little subjective, but I would say your more affordable areas in the Louisville area, would be your Shively, PRP, get a little more for your money over here. Clarksville, probably, New Albany, and outskirts. And anytime you're getting out away, I feel like, from the towns, especially in Southern Indiana, you get a little more for your money. Mid-range neighborhoods, I would say, St. Matthews, Jeffersonville over here. Middletown is getting to upper end of that mid-range, I would say. And then again, your luxury would be your Prospect, Norton Commons, even into Floyd's Knobs over here. I think Indiana is just a little more affordable because our taxes are lower, but Louisville gives you that city lifestyle with the arts, food, events, and both sides have their pros and cons. Whatever side you live in Kentuckiana, we're still all one big community because we function. We're so close, and it's easy to get over into Louisville. Like I said, it just functions as one big community. I think where construction is probably booming the most would be in the East End over here in Louisville. A lot of high demand, a lot of family communities over here, new shopping, maybe a little better infrastructure. So I really think it's booming over here. Again, in Floyd's Knobs on this side of the bridge, probably, and into Charlestown. I really think this area is going to be the next boom town for Southern Indiana because you have a lot of industry going over here with different warehouses. I know there's an Amazon over here, and I just see a lot of construction, a lot of new homes, housing, and I just think this is going to be the next boom town this way. And again, like I said, probably one of the fastest growing areas right through here, from Jeffersonville up to Charlestown. A lot of new homes, under $350,000, you can get a really nice home over this way. Okay, let's talk commute times. I think, depending on the day, of course, Fridays are always going to be a little more hectic, but depending on the day, traffic is not bad in Louisville overall. You're going to hit a few things here, some accidents and some construction, but overall, downtown, I mean, it's, you're 10 to 20 minutes from pretty much anything, I think, just from downtown out in this general area here. Our airport is located right here. So I think, commute times, there's really not bad. We live up in this area up here in Southern Indiana, and, I can get to the airport in 35 minutes from up this way. So it's not too bad. I really like to say that I can get anywhere in Louisville within 45 minutes. It's typically not a lot of traffic. You do hit a little bit on probably 71 heading out towards Crestwood and LaGrange through the week. Louisville kind of bottlenecks a little bit right here, 65 South. Especially during the commutes can get a little busy, and then heading out anywhere 64 East, East coming in, or sorry, West coming in the morning, and East going out at night is a bit trafficy. But like I said, we're about 35 minutes from the airport, and there's just not. We have a pretty good infrastructure as far as getting to where you need to go. Okay, so above all, what is there to do, in the Louisville area. Got a lot of families relocating here, and just, they're a little concerned with activities. And I really think that Louisville is a very vibrant town. There's always something going on, always different events, a lot of beautiful parks. Right here we have Waterfront Park in downtown. In downtown here on the river, you have Waterfront Park. Churchill Downs is just down this way in the south end of Louisville. Again, beautiful if you've never been to Churchill Downs. A lot of bike paths and trails, all throughout Louisville. A lot of bike lanes. We have a walking bridge that you can come to, to connect the two. Right here, a bike path again that goes from, Jeffersonville over here to New Albany. You could essentially live in New Albany and bike over here and get into Louisville for work. So Bardstown Road's another cool, like I said, trendy area through the Highlands. A lot of shopping, proximity to Cherokee Park. Over here in Southern Indiana, you have, you have Huber's Winery and Huber's Farm over here. Definitely, something fun to do over there with the family. Another park system that we like to go to is, let's see if I can find it here, out here in this area, and it's the Parklands area. They have a mountain bike park over there that me and my kiddo go to quite a bit. Lots of trails, the Louisville Loop to walk on, creeks, kayaking. There's really, no shortage of nature. And like I said, I have a lot of people coming that have moved here from Chicago, and they're just always so surprised here lately, like just how much nature, is available in this area. We have beautiful rolling hills. This isn't flat area. It's just a beautiful place to live. And when you take those Sunday drives, you'll know what I mean. So if you're thinking about moving to Kentuckiana, I'd love to be your resource. Please reach out. Let me know if you have any questions. I have a free relocation guide listed below that should help you out a lot. If you're looking to move next month, next year, whatever, let's connect. I can definitely help you make a good decision and build a relationship to help you understand, a little better what makes this such a great place to live. So please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I post a new video every week like this in hopes that it helps someone make a decision and it's informative enough that they make the right decision for their family, whether they're relocating here for work or just looking for a new place to live and grow.